think this is my favorite one yet.
This coffee?
Ridiculous.
Oh, this coffee's amazing.
I have not had a coffee that tastes this good in so many months.
So, Santa Lucia, we've all been there. We all love them.
You've
They're
been
awesome.
there, you know.
It's all great. We love hanging out with the fine folk that have been growing coffee for. It's one of our like
It's
buying
our
coffee from Santa Lucia is our longest continuous relationship coffee that we've had, right?
We bought from them before we even did direct buying.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We did.
We bought before we went to visit them, right? Because 2009 was my first trip to Costa Rica.
We were buying before you went to Costa Rica.
Yeah, that was through Elan Organics, right?
Yep.
All right. So let's talk about the Santa Lucia Geisha.
Let's talk about Santa Lucia, the farm. It's in the West Valley, just outside of a town called Zarcero, kind of in between Lourdes de Naranjo and Zarcero. Really, really, really beautiful spot. Rolling hills, incredibly lush, very fertile, like absolutely picturesque. And Ricardo, who owns the farm, he was an avocado grower. He's super passionate about like minimal intervention farming. Like he uses organic as much as possible. He recently decided that the price to continue being certified as organic was really not worthwhile. He's coming up with his own his own little program called that's like Producto Limpio, which is Spanish for like clean product. It's not maybe not like the most. Wow, that's really aromatic. That's really good.
It's amazing.
Maybe not like the most like sexy terminology, but like seriously, this guy is super passionate about it. Santa Lucia is also the site of their mill. It's a community mill called Helsar de Zarcero that he owns with Marvin and Felipe Rodriguez. And they are together like producing coffees and milling coffees from around the area. And we've been buying coffee from Helsar, again, since 2008. So it's 2019 now, it's a long time.
Yeah.
Our largest volume of coffee is actually from a producer named Mario Salazar, who has his coffee milled at Helsar. He lives just down the road. So like this is a mill that we spend a lot of time with and that we think do an amazing job. And we're super happy to be able to offer. Actually, this is the first of two coffees that we're going to offer in the 50 Pound Project as a part of. This is the first of two coffees that we're going to offer as part of the 50 Pound Project. The next one from them is going to be a totally different coffee from this one, kind of on the other end of the flavor spectrum when it comes to coffee, which is really cool.
Cool. Yeah, Santa Lucia is a really cool, it's a really cool piece of property. I think for me, it's one of those. It's one of the best examples that I know of that I personally visited. And I visited quite a few places.
Thank you.
Where you can look at sort of this holistic, sustainable approach to growing coffee, where you have coffees intermingled with all manner and different varieties of trees and bushes, and it is basically just jungle. Really, it's a rainforest. That's just the coffee just is organized, but still though. It's a harmonious sort of interplay, right? And it's in its best form, right? It's interesting when you talk to Ricardo and you hear him tell the story of how scary it was when they made the decision to go to organic, because the trees went into shock for 3 years where they didn't know how to. It took them that long to readjust and figure out how to thrive without having all the nutrients, external nutrients pumped in on top of them. So they were in shock for a long time.
Yields went way down, and coffee farming is tough in the best of circumstances, and to go the shift organic wholesale. I mean, he actually said to us if he did it again, he would do it in stages. Yeah. He did it in the stupidest way but he wasn't that stupid. It was really smart to do it to make the change. The coffee's amazing, but he said he wouldn't transition the same way.
Yeah.
But he grows like Typica, he grows Catura, he grows, he calls it Villalobos. It's actually Villasarchi. Villalobos, Villasarchi is the same thing. What do y'all think of this brew?
Very nice.
Love it.
Despite the fact that it was clearly brewed poorly.
Poorly?
No, I'm joking. It was really well brewed. It smelled really good. It tastes really good too.
My job is safe for now.
This is my first word. The first word that comes to mind, which is an odd word to use to describe this, but it is like super clean. Like it is like so.
Producto limpio.
It is like it's true. It's like it's so.
Well, that's something we've noticed with Ricardo's coffees in general, whether it's geisha or not. They're just so incredibly clean.
Mm-hmm. It's
Just to plug the white honey we have, and by this point a red honey, also from Santa Lucia.
It's got a lot of tea-like
no, the
characteristics.
red honey's gone.
Red honey.
Thought the red honey is coming out
Okay, we
next
can
month.
argue
Anyway,
that Tea-like characteristics for me,
Very light.
yeah.
like a tea flavor. Like there's some tea characteristics. In
Yeah,
sure,
like
yeah.
that's pretty. It's a fine line between like tea-like and floral.
It's the
In my
best
experience,
version of tea there is.
Paul hates tea.
No, but it does have a very like Assam quality.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
it.
Like it's got that
Like
black
that.
tea characteristic to it, right? Like there's a little bit of black tea flavor in it.
But so floral, like it's crazy.
Tons of jasmine. Like this is actually like this is what coffee blossoms smell like.
Yeah.
As it cools, I'm getting more citrus, which is nice. Like so, not a ton of fruit as it's hot. More on the floral side.
Yeah.
Lots of citrus stuff. This is a like white honey or mechanically washed coffee. When we say white honey like that, so that means that the coffee is depulped and almost entirely demucilaged, but you're not going to soak it and ferment it and then wash it. You're just going to put it straight in the beds.
Yeah.
About
is
as
good.
close as you can get to a wash, though.
Like
honey.
for a like it's a mechanically washed. There's
Mechanically
no
washed,
no fermentation, so there's no.
Because you can strip
What do you call
all
it,
the
secondary?
mucilage off a seed through
Easy.
through mechanically, right? I've seen in Burundi, I've seen seeds actually go through it so violently that there's like gouges out of through the.
Well,
through
that's
the parchment.
that's actually just poorly calibrated machinery.
Totally it is. And then they soaked it after that.
Uh,
Anyway, this is not that.
No.
This is
Much nicer.
Yeah, I mean the coffees that we buy from Zel Cafe in Guatemala, those are all mechanically washed.
Alright.
There's no fermentation in those.
And basically, almost every coffee in Costa Rica is mechanically washed now because of their water laws, right? Like years ago, 20, 30 years ago, they were sort of
1992.
yeah, they were leaders in the world of coffee in terms of recognizing the negative impacts that washing coffee was having because they were taking all the effluent off the coffee, which was the water was contaminated with coffee chemical and dumping it into the rivers, and it was killing the rivers. And so they basically made it a law. You can't do that anymore. So all the coffee in Costa Rica now is processed without any real use of water.
Mostly, you're allowed to mill in the traditional way using lots of water. You just have to make sure that you do some treatment to it before you put it back in the river.
It's too expensive for people. The average
Almost all mills are next. Well, traditionally, we're next to rivers because you needed water to move the coffee around and to wash. And then 1992, the government said, if you're going to do this, you're going to either need to treat the water before you put it back in, and that can be as simple as filtering it through gravel. I've seen large-scale operations like that in Ethiopia and Guatemala. It can also be as simple as using less water.
Yeah, which is what mechanical washers do. Use very little water.
Yeah, a lot of these people are using what you would call an eco pulper, which is again using much less water, and the machines are designed in a way to recycle water through, so that you can actually reuse water for this. You don't want to reuse water for fermentation, but you can reuse water for conveying the coffee through the system without any flavor degradation. Which means that instead of using, in some cases, 20 to 40 liters of water per kilo of green coffee produced, which is insane, you can actually bring that down as low as 1 or 2 liters, and in some cases I've seen even less, but that's rare. That's a massive change in the amount of water being used, which is excellent. Mm-hmm. Just in case you didn't know, water is important.
Even for us Albertans, because we have so much of it.
We can treat our water a bit better.
requirements.
Yeah, we're not super great with our water.
Cool. Well, that's, I think, all we have to say about this coffee. We hope you like it as much as we do. We hope that you continue to enjoy the 50 Pound Project coffees as much as we do. Maybe you enjoy the videos, maybe you don't, but the coffees are amazing. So, until next time.
You may hate us, but we hope you love our coffee.
That's right.